Earlier this week, Iwata addressed investors about the future of Nintendo. Now, one of the things he spoke about was the broadening of the licensing that Nintendo currently does. Now, I'm here with Daniel, and we're going to talk about some of the opportunities that we think is open to Nintendo.
Well, this is part of their strategy. They want to boost Nintendo brand recognition by working with licensing partners that they never have done before. They've usually been quite selective.
Yeah.
Well,
you say that.
Well, yeah.
They've got some pretty funny kind of licensing.
So you can go on the Nintendo website and find out who their official partners are. They actually have a partner for duct tape. But they're in loads of stuff. They're in art books, bakery products, board games, candy, children's meal times, home decor. But loads of stuff, party goods, remote control cards. Campbell Soup Company is the official soups and pasta licensee Nintendo.
There you go.
But they're going to say
meatball soup.
But what they're saying is they're going to work with partners they haven't done before.
Yeah.
And I think, the whole point of this is to create a kind of brand affection and broaden that, pass it on to the new generation. And so they want a Nintendo console. Well, there's a hunger and a desire for these characters.
That's the thing. The characters are arguably as big, if not bigger, than the games. So one of the things that a lot of people have been crying out for is a collaboration with Lego.
Yeah.
Now, I know that, Zelda has been kind of doing the rounds, or bubbling up through the
CUSA.
That's it.
CUSA is the kind of crowdsourced idea bank for Lego. So you can go on there, submit your own design. There's been loads of Lego proposals in the past. Yep. They've reached their 10,000 supporters. They've gone to Lego for them to be considered, and they all fall down, and it comes back to licensing, because Nintendo already have a deal. I don't know if it's still in place with Kinect, the construction toy. Yeah. They did Mario 3D Land sets. But all these Zelda sets is hugely popular, but they've always faltered when it comes to that final stage on getting permission from Nintendo.
Yeah, but this could be the perfect opportunity. Obviously, Zelda makes sense. Mario makes sense, but also Metroid. You look at the kind of space range that Lego does already. That would fit perfectly in with Metroid. And taking it a step further, obviously they do their minifig series, where you get a dozen different figures at a time. That would fit perfectly with Pokemon. And I just think, as a way of getting Nintendo's characters and brand to an audience, a young audience, that is a perfect way of doing it. So,
Lego is absolutely huge. So it's about seeding those characters in other fields, because maybe a lot of kids today might not actually grow up with the next or the current Nintendo console. Yeah. So you're kind of getting them familiar with the characters. The next step, hopefully, is actually I want to be playing that game. Yeah. So what else?
Well, I think, historically Nintendo hasn't had an awful lot of success at the cinema.
What are you talking about, Alex?
I was thinking about the Mario movie. Wasn't as good as it possibly could have been. But again, I would love to see them embrace, adapt something like Disney has or Marvel has with some of their characters, and look to kind of established directors to take on some of their franchises. One of the things that we spoke about was like Guillermo del Toro doing Zelda.
Yeah.
I just kind of think his vision for like the Gorons or the Zoras would just be really, really amazing and very dark.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to see that.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, there were several kind of Mario cartoon series like Mario World and various other ones with Nintendo properties. But that kind of Bob Hoskins film kind of really soured it for Nintendo. And they've been wary ever since. But I think I look towards Marvel as a good kind of template for them. They took their time, they were smart, they were sensible. They worked with specific directors to really work on a treatment that worked for that character, rather than just going, let's just get it out there. So I think if they're ever going to do it, one day they might do a film. I don't know, it'd be great to reach like a huge audience, but I think that experience will make them much more cautious about entering Hollywood or anything like that, really.
But what I love the idea that something like a traditional, cartoon show could coexist alongside a more mature-themed movie. So you'd have, Do
you want a mature-themed Pokemon movie, Alex? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Maybe not too mature. But I love the idea of, like a Mario Nickelodeon TV series alongside a more mature Zelda.
Well, that's kind of how they relaunched the Turtles characters recently with Nickelodeon. Finding that partner who kind of really understands the DNA of the source material and are able to pitch it to a younger audience or a new audience that maybe Nintendo isn't good at targeting anymore in quite the same way, or in different countries perhaps.
Yeah. And obviously, if there's one company that really knows how to make the most of its characters, it's Disney. So again, if you look at what they are doing, just take theme parks. I would love for there to be themed Mario or Nintendo areas within, like, you know, Disney World or Disneyland Paris. Just because the environments are so rich, and what you could do with that stuff would just be so iconic.
Well, that's the rumour, well, that's not the rumour, but the rumour is, that since Disney acquired Marvel a few years ago, and then they acquired more recently LucasArts and Lucasfilm, that they're going around and kind of subsuming every big kind of pop culture phenomenon. Yeah. Like Nintendo, some kind of partnership with them, obviously would give them a huge platform, but also gives them a huge access to a range of different divisions, whether that's TV, because Disney own American networks, whether it's film, or whether it's any other range of media. Disney is a really great gateway to, like, the West, and, like, kind of all ages in the West, I think.
Yeah, completely. And obviously, it wouldn't necessarily have to just stop with the theme parks as well. Obviously, Disney has got a massive presence on the high street because they're so good at marketing their characters and doing different variants of their characters. Like, we know, obviously, so many people that love Nintendo characters, but I would quite happily go into a Nintendo store that was full of, like, amazing kind of collectibles from high-end stuff.
At the moment, it isn't that great. And if you go into somewhere like Forbidden Planet in London, the Nintendo stuff actually does feel pretty cheap compared to a lot of stuff that's available in that store. And some of the things are like Nintendo mints in a Hyrulean shield. Like, that's not really evocative of the Zelda franchise or its history.
But that's, you know, my point is, you know, you could go for the really high-end collectible stuff to, you know, the little bits and pieces. And that's what Disney is so good at doing, is, you know, catering for every single level, whether you want, you know, the very best for 300 quid or something for £3.
You want that Pokemon Pixar movie.
Well, I wouldn't mind a Mario.
People want Pixar to make everything, though.
That's true.
Pixar's just like, no, can we just make the film about the dinosaur? Yeah. They're never going to let them. What about stuff that's more out there?
Like Pikmin seeds.
Pikmin home base.
Can you actually grow real Pikmin? That'd be amazing.
Wow. You're going to get into genetic engineering.
Yeah. Kirby caught warbles.
Okay. I feel like you're almost on an episode of Dragon's Den here.
Maybe. But actually, one serious thing is, like, Uniqlo has done an amazing job of taking certain video game franchises and doing a really cool line of T-shirts. Or, you know, you take Metal Gear. They've done some amazing kind of partner work there. And again, I would look at Nintendo's rich history and the legacy that they've got their characters, and I'd love to see something that was more than just a normal Nintendo T-shirt, rather than a Nintendo logo or a straightforward pixel.
It'd be fair to say a lot of the Nintendo apparel that's out there you probably wouldn't buy.
No, but if there was something that was, you know, particularly cool or off the wall, but also endorsed by Nintendo, I'd be well up for that.
Okay.
So those are our kind of thoughts on where we think Nintendo should be going with its licensing partners. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and for everything Nintendo, keep it locked on IGN.